Hello everyone, happy holidays and welcome back to my channel. I guess we should address the elephant in the room. I only made it through 5 days of vlogmas. I don't think anyone's surprised. I could list excuses, but overall it's just that my back hurt, brain wasn't working, and I don't do that much. So it's like I have to do things all the time and then also edit them every day. It was a lot, so I wanted to apologize, but I wanted to make it up to you by giving you a story time. You guys have missed the story times, I'm aware. I feel like I should do them more. They're not that hard to film. This is one you guys have been requesting for quite a while, so felt like the right time. Today's story is the first time I ever smoked weed. And then I would say part 2, but the next is kind of part 1A. The first time I ever got high. You might be confused and you'd be like, wouldn't that be the same? No, wrong. Didn't get high the first time. We'll get to that. But before we start, a word from our sponsor. Yes, this video about the first time I smoked weed has a sponsor. I'm not mad about it. Today's video is brought to you by Simple Health. Simple Health is an online service that makes getting a birth control prescription easier than ever. And I know I personally, being a millennial, suffer from extreme phone anxiety, so the thought of making a doctor's appointment or doing any kind of adulting task over the phone, it's not for me. Not to mention we're also in the middle of a global pandemic, so like any excuse to not leave your apartment, probably a good decision. But anyway, that's why Simple Health makes things so much easier. There's no doctor or pharmacy visits required. It literally prescribes your birth control online and then delivers it straight to your door. All you have to do is provide some quick info about yourself, your health history, and your birth control preferences. Then a doctor who's licensed in your state will review your information and write you a prescription for your birth control. You can pick which brand and method you want to try, pill, patch, or ring. But also, if you have no clue what would work best for you, not to worry. Simple Health's team of OBGYNs and physicians will work with you and help you decide from over 100 different brands. From there, they'll ship your prescription right to your door, and then they keep you stocked by sending you refills every single month, so you don't even have to think about it. P.S. Did I mention that it's free with insurance? And even if you don't have insurance, it's only $15, and then the shipping is free. It's a good deal. But also, if you go to simplehealth.com right now and use the code LilyMarston, even if you don't have insurance, that'll give it to you for free. So you have no excuse not to try it, because as I said, it's free. Long story short, if you've been putting off getting birth control, the time is nigh, or if you just honestly want to make your birth control process a little easier and you're like me and are trying to just avoid any adulting tasks you possibly can, this is for you. Just go to simplehealth.com and use the code LilyMarston, and then you can try it for free even if you don't have insurance. It's a win-win. And by the way, this isn't a replacement for your normal OBGYN or doctor's appointments. You should still be going for your normal checkups and exams. Can't do that remotely yet. We're not that far in the future. But this can just replace the birth control aspect. One less thing you have to worry about. So for a little context / backstory, if you watch my channel a lot, you've probably discovered that I was gonna say secret stoner, but it's pretty out in the open now. During Clever, I feel like I was a secret stoner. I didn't lie about it. No one really ever asked. And I'm talking followers never really asked. Everyone in real life, they definitely knew. In the office, no one even questioned it. But since it was a brand that I was working for and we were supposed to be kind of family friendly, even though we made dick jokes every episode. Anyway, we were supposed to be kind of brand friendly, and apparently talking about how I'm a huge stoner wasn't something that would be great. I just kind of kept it to myself, and then when I left and started my own channel, it was like, can I talk about it now? I don't feel the need to smoke on camera. I think that would get demonetized, so I'm not gonna do that. And honestly, I asked my manager and I was like, actually, I take it back. I did have one where I was actually smoking weed. It was one of my Coachella vlogs. And I remember I sent it to my manager and I was like, so if I were to upload this, is that going to harm my chance at any future brand deal? Or do you think they'll never notice because it's pretty far in, and also who cares because it's California and it was 420? She pretty much responded that it was fine. I think we both were of the agreement that if a brand doesn't want to work with me because I smoke, then you know what? We don't want to work with them either. Anyway, yes, I smoke a lot of weed. I haven't always. I mean, it's been quite a while now. I'm 30 and I started when I was 18. That's one. I started regularly when I was 20, we'll say. When I say regularly, I mean daily. 20. So 10 years, I'd say I've taken some breaks, but because I'm traveling. Honestly, most of the time I bring it when I travel, so it's not really a concern either. You might be surprised that it took me that long to first start smoking weed. But shockingly enough, high school Lily was very anti-weed. I mean, I was pretty anti-alcohol too before I started drinking. Clearly, I'm a huge hypocrite. My sister corrupted me with alcohol, but then she never smoked weed, so I think it was just like, none of my friends did either. So it was just like, weed's dirty, gross, I don't like smoke, I don't want it anywhere near me, I don't like the smell, blah, blah, blah. I had a lot of complaints, wasn't a fan. But then I went to Arizona State. You could say that a lot of people there smoke weed. You would think I would give in to peer pressure right away, but no, I held my ground for months, you guys. It wasn't even like, oh, weed, it's a drug. No, I just hated the smell. I don't like smoke. Nothing about it sounded appealing, and I just didn't want to try it. But should mention, weed is also a felony in Arizona, so even if you have like a very, very small amount, it's a felony and you're going to jail. So it was always a little sketchy about where people were gonna smoke. More often than not, they would choose someone's car. Not that many people had cars. They always asked for mine, and I was like, ew, no, absolutely not. Eventually we did. Most of the time though, everyone would get into one of my friend's trucks that had like 5 seats, maybe 6. I think there was like 3 in the front, and they would just hotbox it. I would go with, and you might be like, Lily, if you hate the smell of weed, you don't like smoke, and you also are not going to smoke it, why would you go sit in the car? Well, you guys, I also didn't want to be alone and miss out on making memories with my college friends. So I would just sit in the car and like literally be like, like dying in the corner. Hotboxing isn't even fun if you do smoke. But anyway, I would say there was months of that where it'd be like, everyone's like, ooh, let's go smoke. And I'm like, oh, fuck, fine. And I just go sit in the car and be miserable. I think it was my hangovers that started getting bad from drinking that really, switch things up for me. When my hangovers start getting worse from drinking, I have people start recommending that I smoke weed because apparently that is like the ultimate hangover cure. And I'd heard it from so many people, but again, I didn't like the smell of weed and I didn't like smoke. It all kind of made me nauseous. So I'm like, if I'm already nauseous, the thought of doing that, absolutely not. That sounds terrible. How would that make it any better? I was wrong. I then had this internal debate going that I was like, maybe I should try it. But then I was like, what if I take edibles instead? Which I texted my friend that idea, and she goes, absolutely not, don't do that, horrible idea. And I was like, oh. She was like, just smoke the fucking weed. And I was like, you sure the edibles won't work? She's like, no, Lily, don't eat the edibles. You're gonna freak out. I'm like, okay, got it. I think I took like a couple more days to like sit with it, and I was like, should I? I don't know. No one was really peer pressuring me. It was me peer pressuring myself. And then eventually I decided, fuck it, why not? So I went and told my friend and our other 2 guy friends that lived in our dorm. The 4 of us then piled into my bathroom, which is the bathroom between 2 rooms. We have sinks in our room, so this bathroom is literally a toilet and a shower, and the whole room is probably like 5 by 3 feet, maybe. Safe to say 4 fully grown adults don't really fit comfortably in there, but also I don't know why we thought that the dorm was a great place for me to smoke for the first time, considering, as I mentioned earlier, it's a felony in Arizona, and there had been numerous times that you're in the hallway and you're like, I think I smell weed. And within 5 minutes, you hear boots and handcuffs clanking, and there's cops walking down the hallway, and guess what? That person got arrested and got a felony because weed is a felony in Arizona. Apparently we either momentarily forgot that or just didn't care or thought we wouldn't get caught. Not really sure the logic there. But we pile into the bathroom, and it's 2 like sliding doors that close it. We line those with towels because we're being extra careful. All the precautions so we aren't gonna get arrested. Turn the shower on. No one's in the shower. So we're now all squished in the part that's just around the toilet, which is this, like, I don't even know how we all fit. But the shower is on, turned hot, so it's like a steam room in there. And then lastly, which I sat there trying to remember what this was called, and I was like, that can't be it. That's so fucking weird. Who would make that up? Then I Googled it, and I was correct. We also were equipped with what is called a sploof. This is a toilet paper roll. That's Max hair. This is a toilet paper roll that you then put a dryer sheet on with a rubber band, and after you're done smoking, you blow the smoke into here so it like diffuses it and makes it not smell. To be honest, I don't really know if it works, but apparently we were confident enough in this toilet paper roll that we were willing to trust it with the possibility that we would be arrested. Anyway, we were smoking out of like a little tiny pipe, and they had to like teach me how to like hold the carb, and like I think I just made them light it for me because I was like gonna singe off my eyebrows. And I think I took 2 hits total. Tried to take decent sized ones, but oh my God, literally felt like my throat was on fire. And I don't smoke cigarettes either. So this was the first time smoking anything. Oh my God. Very painful. Definitely didn't like it. I was like, this is terrible. This hurts. And also, no one tells you. Actually, they might have told me. And I was just disappointed regardless. You don't necessarily get high the first time you smoke, which I don't really understand why. I would look up the science, but I probably won't understand it anyway. So, spoiler alert, I didn't get high. So we went through all that, and it was just like, now my throat hurts and I'm just annoyed. And I'm like, are you sure I shouldn't just try the edible? And everyone's like, no, we'll try another night. It happens. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll get you high another night. And I'm like, okay. But like, also didn't even really want to try again because my throat was on fire. Thinking back, this is also when I got strep throat a lot. So who knows? Could have been that too. Anyway, let's move on to part 1A. This is the story of the first time I ever got high. So after our first failed attempt, the following night, the guy friends we had been with texted us and they were like, hey, round 2, want to try again? We were like, sure, why not? We have nothing else to do. I feel like it was like a Tuesday. This time, so we didn't have to cram in the bathroom, we actually walked over to their frat, which I'm pretty sure they've demolished all the frats at ASU since then, but Alpha Drive, many a night there that I both remember and don't remember. This was like a early evening and I wasn't drunk, so I do remember. The 4 of us walked over, it's very close to our dorm, and we went in their little like courtyard area in the middle, so it's like there's no cops that possibly could come because you would just like not let them in. This was far less nerve-wracking than, you know, the time that we were smoking in our dorm that we had seen people get arrested in before. Instead, now we have the safety of this frat in this nice courtyard, and we were just passing around leisurely. I probably took 2 hits. Well, I definitely got high this time. I wouldn't even be able to go back and like describe what the feeling was like. I think it even took a few times of smoking to kind of realize, because I also feel like there's so much anticipation after you smoke that you're kind of like waiting for it to kick in, and then you're like, I don't know, I feel kind of weird, like, is this it? But then eventually it really hits you and you're like, oh, yes, I'm familiar, got it. And then you never forget it. But anyway, we passed it around. I think I took like 2 hits. It was just a little pipe again. Then the 4 of us decide that we're gonna walk back and go get some food. When I tell you that we were walking the slowest you could walk while still moving, it was literally just us being like robots walking so slow, and we all started panicking because we realized that we had to walk through the lobby of our dorm, which had like some kind of, I would say an RA, but I don't know if it's RA's working this, some kind of authority figure that would like potentially get, I guess I don't think they can get you in trouble for being high, just getting high. We had already gotten high. But anyway, we are about to enter the building, and literally all of us kind of look at each other, and one of the guys goes, act natural. And we all just like nod in agreement. And then we literally just slow motion walk. I would have paid to see the security camera because anyone that saw us was probably like, what the hell are they doing? One of our friends was in the dorm lobby area and they were like, are you guys okay? And we're like, I don't think so. I don't know. And then we went to what's called Devil's Diner, which is a very mediocre food place in our dorm. We ordered a lot of food and then we went back up to our dorm, and then we also had some visitors throughout the night because as I mentioned, it was a huge deal that I had smoked because I had been really putting it off for years, and like it was to the point that I wasn't even getting peer pressure anymore. Like people didn't even offer and they just were like, no, Lily doesn't want it. But yeah, it's safe to say I changed my mind, and now it is a part of my everyday life. I can't imagine what it would have been like if I had smoked in high school. We always had drug dogs come on campus. They would check all the lockers and check all the cars, and people would get caught all the time. And I remember thinking like, just don't bring it to school. But like, I'm sure they were smoking it in the parking lot at school, so that makes a little more sense. But like, I can't imagine going to class high in high school. I did in college a lot. I'd have like an hour break in between classes and I'd be like, that's enough time to run home, smoke 1 bowl, and then get back. And that's what I would do. I consider myself a very functional stoner. Oh, but by the way, so even after this, I didn't like love it. It wasn't like, oh my God, this is the best feeling ever. But then after trying it for the first time, I decided that then I was going to try it for the hangovers. Oh my God, you guys. It was just a phase before the alcohol allergy began. Moment of silence. But for a while, my secret was if I would smoke at night right before I go to sleep after drinking like a lot, I'd wake up and I literally would like jump out of bed and be like, where should we go to brunch? That never happened before, and it definitely doesn't happen now. But for a couple months, it was great. We would basically always end up at our friend's frat, and I would just like text him before I would leave, and he'd be like, hey, what you doing? He's like, I'm in room, blah, blah, blah. And then I would go in there and smoke with him. But yeah, anyway, that's the first time I smoked weed when I was, I guess, 18. It was like right before winter break. Freshman year. And then I remember I went home and my friend Brian lived down the street and he would literally like pick me up and we'd tell my mom that we were going to get food and then we'd just pull up the street, park, smoke a couple bowls out of his little bubbler, which like I think I would hit it like once and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm too high, I have to go inside. And then I'd go back in and my mom would be like, where'd you go get food? That was fast. I'm like, I don't know. I think I told her after like 2 months and she couldn't care less. And then she even was like so okay with it at a certain point that I remember there was a cop that had been circling the neighborhood where we would park and smoke in his car. So I asked my mom, I was like, so do you think we could maybe smoke in the backyard? She answers as if it was like the dumbest question in the entire world and is just like, I don't care. I'm like, and then we even graduated to smoking in the house. I would like blow it out the window, but I mean, I think we all know that doesn't really work. And then sophomore year of college, I lived across from drug dealers, so that made getting weed really easy. It's funny because I feel like I started it for hangovers, but it's filled a lot of different needs in my life. Everything from like just recreational to pain relief to recreational. It's funny though, because it started as something that I was like, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan until like now it's one of my favorite things in the world. I feel like it's a miracle drug. CBD as well. I feel like people don't take advantage enough of CBD. Anyway, I think that wraps it up. I usually end this with a story from you guys that I picked from the last video. And then I wanted to feature ones about you guys' first time getting high, but then I didn't remember to ask you for that in time. But so I think I'm just going to skip the comments thing for this time, mostly because it's literally almost 7 a.m. and I haven't gone to sleep. Leave your comments below about your first time smoking, especially if it's eventful, because I feel like mine was a little anticlimactic. But then again, it didn't happen until I was like 18, so I feel like people that started younger probably have a little more entertaining stories. Leave those in the comments below, and then I'll read them in the next story time, which I feel like there was another weed-related one that I wanted to do. Oh, I was actually going to do my alcohol allergy, because if you didn't know, halfway through sophomore year of ASU, I couldn't drink any hard alcohol anymore. And when you go to ASU and you pretty much only drink vodka, that's not very fun. Anyway, that's another story time. So leave your comments below about your first high story or first weed story or both. I'm curious for you guys, like, did you get high the first time or did it take a couple times? Did you like it right away? Because none of the above for me. I think truly if I hadn't realized that it helped my hangovers so much for a while, I never would have done it enough to realize how much I like it once I got used to it. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great holiday. And that's it. Thank you for being here today. Bye.